Hey gang, I'm coming to you today from my COVID bunker again in my attic uh, to basically update you guys on something I've been thinking about since this whole thing started and give you um, a little insight to some of the progress that I've made on that. Um, when it comes to adaptations of Batman, which is something I've been thinking a lot about because of these caves that we're living in, and Superman to some extent because of the Fortress of Solitude. Um, I think the best uh, adapted Batman is not um, Tim Burton's Batman, and I understand why people may think that. If you know me, because I was born in a time when it was like the summer of Batman, and when that movie came out, it was a big deal. The toys weren't so great, but I understand how you get to Tim Burton for Batman because you're trying to make sense of like this dark thing, which is also silly. Like a lot of the rogues gallery and villains in the Batman universe. So they were like, yeah, get Tim Burton. He's like, he's silly and dark. Um, as much as I wanted it to be the 1989 Batman, it is not. Uh, I would say a close second is the Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight Returns. I think it's a really good example of the moral dilemmas in which Batman has to decide your personal rights over the safety and well-being of humanity and the kind of tough choices you would have to make as a superhero, as it were. And especially, let me just point this out since we were talking about Superman earlier, the important decisions that are the distinctions between Batman and Superman. You know, Superman is always Superman to an extent, but really, like up here, he's Clark Kent because he was raised on Earth. It wasn't like he was raised on Krypton. It's like he was just a normal farm dude with superpowers that got a bunch of scrapbooks from his dead parents to inform him about his alien heritage. But at his core, he is a farm boy, and that's cool. It's one of the best things about Superman because he actually, despite him being invulnerable and all those other things, he's actually us, like people-wise. Batman is not us. Batman is Batman up here, and then pretends to be Bruce Wayne out here. Because if you think about like his development, like if you watch your parents get shot to death when you're, I don't know, was he like 7? That changes your whole like life trajectory. So like from that point on, he was Batman, whether he had a name for it or not. So yeah, that's also why Christopher Nolan Batman is really good because you really see that he's actually Batman and not Bruce Wayne. But to not go through every Batman adaptation on Earth, another close second is the I don't know, remember. I'm just going to say it was 1960, but the Adam West Batman. That one's really fun because it takes that silly comic book adaptation, like pop art premise, and then does some actually like it subverts it at times to make it actually a really good movie. And then finally, the best and greatest of all time Batman adaptations with a bullet is Batman the Animated Series. And if you think I'm wrong, watch them all again. If you find yourself wondering if that's true or not, look at every single Batman, with the exception of when they're voiced by Adam West or someone who sounds like Adam West. Look at every single animated feature that DC has done where they've voiced Batman over. It is the dude who voiced Batman and Batman the Animated Series. So that's my important update for today. Since we're in COVID bunkers, thinking about the Batcave, the best Batman adaptation of all time. We can finally put it to rest and settle it. It is Batman, the Animated Series. Okay, gang. hey, what you do in these videos? You ask everybody to put their thoughts in the comments. What's your favorite Batman? Put it in the comments, and I'll tell you why you're wrong. Or not. I respect you guys' decisions. Because Dark Knight is really a good Batman adaptation also. I didn't even mention the Richard Schumacher ones. Is that was his name? The one where they had nipples with George Clooney? That's an easy one to make fun of also. But anyways, yeah, guys. Batman, Superman. Maybe later I'll talk about my favorite Superman comic. Or the best one of all time. Okay, guys. Bye.